Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls. This time I properly remember to switch text to English, thank God. Not that we'll need to use much, but for starters, let's check because I have changed my stats a bit. Mostly I pumped up some in strength, vitality, and endurance. Mostly because, for example, I actually killed the Black Knight, which I died the previous part, and got the item was behind me, a blue tearstone ring. Basically, it's the classic item that boosts my defense where my HPs are low. It's a very good starter ring, but you will find much better rings as the game will progress, and hopefully we may get one in this very part. But also more interesting, I got a new weapon, the Zweihander. Basically, Dweebs, it's a classic two-hand sword wielded by Highlander style of people. It requires a massive amount of strength and only a little bit dexterity, but it's a perfect weapon and will probably be the one that will carry through the entire run because it is very effective, both one and two-handed. Also, I can do this. Anyway, let's move on because it's actually time. One of our goals for this part is to beat the Rock.
Stop wanking your sword, man. This kid.
Anyway, as I mentioned, one of our main goal for this part would be to beat the Rock, the guy with the huge armor and the dragon dildo that mercilessly beat us the previous part. Why? He has something that we need very badly right now, actually.
I'm a bit behind you guys, but it's typical for a stream.
Yeah, sure. The items that sometimes this enemy drops that you see in the Titanite shards are used for blacksmith purposes, in a sense of powering up the weapons and armors. But I don't really have use for right now because we haven't met up other blacksmith yet. But as the game will progress, we'll find ourselves in need of them more and more. Also, you may notice that I slightly changed my gears to have a lighter build right now. That's because I'm carrying an heavy equipment and I don't want to be too slowed down, especially against someone like the Rock, unfortunately. Alright.
Yeah, every time you say the Rock, I keep thinking of the bloody wrestler.
Well, yeah.
I'm half expecting him to show up and to give you a rock bottom and tell you to know your roll and shut you down.
Oh, that's his signature move, I take.
The rock bottom, yeah. Although
So
he's got two. The
how
rock
does it
bottom
work?
and the people's elbow.
Oh.
Well, the rock bottom, what he does, he picks you up and slams you really hard into the ring. His elbow, he takes off his elbow pad, runs over you like a wrestler, and drives the elbow into your chest.
Also, what I performed right here is a parry. Basically, I don't think I did in the previous parts, but using my shield can potentially block an upcoming attack, depending on the nature of the weapon that attacks, And the enemies will be stunned for a second, like flabbergasted, like that, and that allows me to have a riposte. If you have a weapon like a rapier, that simplifies much more things, but you can do that potentially if you have a big and decent enough shield, and if the enemy has a particular weapon. It doesn't work obviously against all of them, but it's mostly effective, especially in PvP. Alright, here's hoping. Come here. Yeah, one particular strategy that I would recommend is doing this. Abel will be stupid enough to fall and will guarantee some, actual damage from the fall.
So what, are you going to keep doing that over and over until he dies?
Believe me, Dweebs, it doesn't take long at the very least.
Hey, come here! I've got something for you!
Unconventional.
The problem is that the unfortunate thing is that Abel keeps switching between, one and two-handed, and when he's two-handed, he's at its most dangerous, obviously. At least with the shield, he can be slowed down. Let's try this. There you go. I gave him some extra damage. Most weapons, unfortunately, are not giving him that many damage against team. Oh, great.
Did you take fall damage?
No, he hit me before that.
Ah.
Yeah, thanks for telling me that game.
Zeus, it's very important. In fact, in the second game, your most likely your first trophy will be if you die the first time. It's literally called something like "Welcome to Dark Souls."
Funny, that's the one for what's considered the worst game.
Yeah, I've actually been playing myself, and believe me, it's the Scholar of the First Scene edition, so it's like the best version of the game, the PS4 one, but it's still very rough. Like, it's missing, oh my god, did I just type about this? Well, whatever. It's missing a lot of textures here and there, the character animation are very janky, and there's the fact that a lot of enemy placement and traps during the levels are just plain wrong. It's a bit hard to describe, but there's a distinct different feeling compared to this game. This game is a much more organic level design and enemy placement. The second one feels as if it was done through Mad Libs, because they had, the creators had like not a checklist, but just a vague idea on how things worked, and they wanted to recreate the glory of the first game, but didn't have the actual, talent to do so. Because believe me, Hidetaka Miyazaki is the director, of course, but he was also part of the main team of From Software. Dark Souls 2 was like the B team's work, because the main team was actually busy to do Bloodborne instead, and it kind of shows, because Bloodborne obviously has a similar vibe to this game, while Dark Souls 2 unfortunately doesn't. Miyazaki eventually came back to do Dark Souls 3, and it does combine stuff from Dark Souls 1 and 2. It's better than 2, but I still prefer this first chapter overall, if I have to be honest.
The last thing a game this difficult needs to be is clunky.
Yeah, well, the second is absurd under certain things. For example, the Mimic enemy, we haven't met it yet, but the Mimic enemy is something that, a player should be very afraid of, be very cautious, test, weapons, treasure chests and stuff like that. Dark Souls 2 actively punishes you for actually bothering to hit, for example, treasure chests, in fear if there is a mimic or not. So it gives you basically an extra layer of unfairness for the sake of pretending to be more difficult. While at the same time it does some weird things like not having respawning enemies, sometimes. But I'm digressing, and it's a topic for when the game will come. Not to mention, talking a lot actually maybe let me deconcentrated for a fight like this. I don't want the part to be entirely based around the fact that the Rock is kicking my ass.
Welcome to Souls Talk Day.
Yeah, sometimes the tactic doesn't work and you just calmly take the stairs.
Yeah. You think I'd fall for the same trick 5 times?
Well, it can. The AI is mostly competent for enemies and NPCs, but not always.
I got it.
Oh my god.
Throw a sticky bomb onto the stairs and then press the left to blow it up.
Well, I do actually have some bombs.
Oh, I was making a GTA 5 joke. I didn't think you actually had that.
But they don't do that much damage, unfortunately. It's similar to the Dark Knight with the Dark Knight before.
Can you have him cut? Can you learn him to like support beams? And
Pew, 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 pew. Unfortunately, no. Nope, it's clearly not my day. Oh my god.
And I'm not even the one sending you into all this crap.
No, this time is all about me. Congratulations, Sheer. You can be unscathed about this one.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the item that Hable holds is absolutely necessary. If I don't manage to beat him properly in this part, I will just try to do it off screen. But needless to say, for the runs that we need to do, that item is the best thing that we can get right now before proceeding. Otherwise, you will have to do some very unnecessary backtracking, and it will be very annoying on the long run.
Oh, I can't believe I fell for that again.
So instead, in the meantime, actually, you two, tell me something like, how did
Okay.
obviously you two didn't play this game, but like, how did you know about it? Like by fame? Did you had some friends who played it or watched it, stuff like that? Please.
I heard it because the first time I heard about it was when people were complaining about the second game.
Really? I know that the first one took a bit to gain popularity, but it quickly got it from less players.
When did it come out?
2010/11, I think.
Well, I was a bit busy playing. Well, back in 2010, I was doing all sorts. I was going to college. I was watching Nicktoons a lot on telly. And I didn't really get all that many games, so yeah. I mean, most of the time I was playing games that was either on the PS3 or the Wii, and Dark Souls. Just I wasn't old enough to buy Dark Souls at that point.
All right, it has a PEGI at 18.
That it does.
Ow.
Yeah, funny. I could watch The Matrix at that point legally, but not.
Forgot, Liz, what rating does the Matrix movie have?
15.
Interesting. Well, to be fair, they do not like swear or have excessive amount of gore, so it kind of makes sense. Though the sex scene in Matrix Reloaded kinda is not really 15 material.
Yeah, wait a minute. 15. I can watch people have sex, but I can't have sex till a year later.
Logic, yo. Well, Dweebs, I was rewatching recently Kadika's review of Crashed Insanity. If that game can get a 3+ rating with all the shit that it has in it, like, I don't know what else cannot have it.
My daughter, niece.
Niece! Honestly, the favorite remains to me the mooning cortex a bit. Mother? Like, how did you manage to surpass the ASRB in America?
Never mind that. How are you able to make a game like that in Britain? About the government going all doodally on you.
Alright, we're almost there, guys, actually.
Oh, but yeah, as for me, I knew about this because fame, memes, and a bunch of friends who somehow really hate themselves.
There we go! Finally! Turns out you can stop the rock.
Well,
And what we get from here is his ring, Havel's ring. This is a blessing and used in almost every single run. Why? It boosts immensely the maximum level of load you can equip, meaning that with my current build, now I can actually be more agile with my, with my speed and dodging maneuvers.
you have to wear a ring to be able to carry more stuff.
I know, right? It's just magical. Which, by the way, since the game in English also has some item descriptions, in this case they provide you also, for example, a bit of lore. In this case, Havel. Havel was one of Lord Gwyn's old battlefield companions. In case you don't remember, Lord Gwyn was the bearded guy who at the beginning was fighting the dragons. So this was like one of his most loyal knights. And the man of Abel, wore this ring to express faith in the leader. So why did he was standing here at the bottom of this very tower like this, going hollow? Food for thoughts. But thanks to the master key, we can also have the door that was behind him in order to get to the second item that we need for our important item for our run, which leads us to the Darkroot Basin. Basically, a garden, a sort of garden right under the walls, the exterior walls of Anorlando. This also reinforces how each part is heavily connected like that. There are some enemies here, but I highly suggest to just ignore them right now. There we go. Especially considering that if you have like a keen eye, or you already know the game, you know exactly what lurks in the lake right there. And we don't want to fight that thing right now. Instead, what we want to do is to follow the steps right here. Also chugging some S2 might as well. Because at the bottom of this particular cavern lies another Black Knight, but now we should be more suited condition to defeat him. And what we need is the item that is guarding. Of course, all the good stuff is, hidden behind a knight. This case, however, the Black Knight is wielding a spear instead of, the sword that he had before. This is because each knight carries potentially a weapon that he can drop upon its defeat. Unfortunately, I really wanted the weapon that the guy had, the Black Knight sword, which is extremely effective against an enemy type that we will be facing later on, but alas, I couldn't get it, so we'll have to rely on this by hand. Don't get me wrong, it's still a perfect substitute weapon, but I would have preferred that one. It's the one that my avatar carries. But at least I defeated the enemy, and since he doesn't respawn, meaning I can just go there and pick the item.
Yeah, imagine that though. Well, at least I respawned the enemy.
Lives, you need to take its little things in life.
What life? He just died.
Alright, undead life. Jeez. Always trying to be precise, Lives.
But
How dare you?
How can you be precise if you're dead?
There we
Precisely.
go. I pretend to haven't heard that.
Yeah, well, that wasn't an Italian knockoff. That was.
What?
When there was this film called Ratatouille.
Oh, Ratatouille, yeah.
But I said
Well, even
precisely. That's an English word.
Even that, well, yeah. Also, you're not my Pollock, as far as I know, Shiroi.
No.
Well, it would be a clever disguise for Eggman, I will say that.
I thought omelette or egglet was a clever disguise.
That's fan content, and be
Fan
thankful
content that looks cool and that Sega approves of.
But yet it's still not canon, just like Bowsette. So stop fan wanking. Oh no, you don't.
I've almost done drinking.
No drinking problems here allowed. Alright, now that we have the road clear, we just need to get where we were before. And after that, we can finally actually progress.
Go down the stairs.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
I meant just go off the edge and they'll get down quicker.
Bowser will always be in my heart, damn it.
Technically, yes, but we do take some damage. It's kind of like in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, but you still take the damage.
Dark boot raisin?
Dark Root Raisin. It's actually one of the two garden hair areas of the game. The other is the Dark Root Garden, I think it's properly called.
The only reasons I know are that the fruits.
Basin, it lives. Basin is a place where where water is concentrated, like in a lake.
There's also the MacGuffin from Uncharted 2, and those dark chocolate squares. Top of it.
Okay. And there it is, the Grass Crest Shield. This is a shield like many others, an old medium metal shield of unknown origin, but it has an interesting effect,
If it didn't help that guy out, how's it going to help you?
Well, because first of all, he's dead. Second,
no, I meant, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the corpse of which I plunder it. Yes.
I meant that shield didn't help him because he's dead.
Well, it certainly would be better for. It's similar like to that sword in Page Master Lives. But anyway, its passive effect is universally appreciated because it doubles the length, it doubles the speed of which my stamina recovers, meaning that I can, do a lot of rolling and my stamina will recover very fast compared to previously. With these two tools, Havel's Ring and Rescue Shield, our build is getting more and more completed like that, and it will be crucial for our survival and having less deaths. So we're actually at a very good spot for our early runs. Also, there's a bonfire here where you can lit, and just stay here for a second. There we go. Now, if I proceed through this tunnel, I can potentially get back to Farling Shrine for a shortcut, but I will need to be lucky enough to kill some enemies, so here's hoping.
Do we know what From Software are doing now?
Yes, a game called Elden Ring, I think it's called, still with Bandai Namco as the publisher, so many suspect that this is the next quote-unquote Souls-like game, just with a different title.
Yeah, they go all over the place. They have Babco, then Sony, then Activision.
Keep in mind, Activision for Sekiro is only for the Western release. For Japan, they self-published. It's similar to Ni no Kuni, basically. Ni no Kuni 2. Yeah. Anyway, here we are at the...
Published by Activision.
Also, someone else is watching me. Hello, whoever you are. Well, you cannot even listen to me. Anyway, this is the Valley of the Drakes. We don't want to fight the Drakes, so it's best if we run right now. So, goodbye, sir. Have a good day.
Got a bit of its tail off.
I actually can. It's funny you mentioned that, Ribs, but for these particular drakes, I can't. But it's you are having a good observation spirit, because of some particular drakes I can actually cut their tails away and receive some weapons. I could potentially have done that in this very part, but the Zweihander we have, it's so what we need. Hello there, who are you? Oh, look at that, some shinies. Do you want... Okay, decision time. Ribs and Shiroi, do I get the shinies or not?
I reckon it's a trap, so don't.
Shiroi?
I would also say no.
Alright, we'll leave him be.
I'll be nice this time.
I mean, he's quote-unquote dead, so...
Don't worry, eventually we'll get back to get them at some point. Right now...
So it is a trap.
Not really, I didn't say that. I just said about the quality of the items. What you need to know is that right now we don't really need them.
Okay.
We're most... I can, without spoiling, I can tell you... Oh, there you go. We get a large soul of a nameless soldier. And using our faithful master key, we can unlock this shortcut. Believe me, we'll have to pass through this later on anyway, to reach an area that we'll have to visit later anyway, the new Londo ruins. For now, just admire the swagness of this particular undead. Now he's resting. Like, holy shit.
You wanted to go out with style.
Well, you be my fucking guest. There you go.
This is Dark Souls.
Yeah, welcome to Dark Souls, bitch. But if we go down here, we can meet a guy close behind bars. Who are you?
Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head.
Well, no, I didn't.
More importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't pry.
This guy's called Rickert of Wienheim. Wienheim being the country he's from. Wienheim, in case you don't know, you may notice that from the character build, but he's mostly proficient in wizards, so not exactly a interesting lot.
By someone British.
Most of the cast is actually British, Twibs.
No intention of escape.
It's surprising because Namco Bandai usually, gets people, the usual anime voice acting crowd that Steve Blum, Liam O'Brien, Christopher.
We here in Britain rarely get.
Oh no, I'm actually fine with this. It gives a definitive identity to the game if that's what you need.
I mean,
anyway,
it's not like Final Fantasy XIV where they shifted the actors.
Yeah. Anyway, Rickard is a blacksmith, actually. This is the first one we discover. It's actually not potentially the first we could, but it's just on our way. What a blacksmith can do is to give you items. In this case, Rickard is a mage, so he can also sell us some spells that, frankly, we don't really need. And a catalyst. Fucking wizard stuff.
That's a...
anyway, repair our equipment, because our equipment actually has a durability like that. It costs just a tiny bit of souls, but it's worth it on the long run. Modify our equipment if they're on high level, but the first step would be to reinforce our equipment. In this case, oh, someone else has joined. In this case, for example, using the Titanite shards that we just collected, we can spend them to do either our weapons or armors, but in case of Ricard only weapons, for example our Zweihander, using a combination of souls and the loot material that we acquired to power them up. For the sake for now, it will be just for physical attack, basically boosting his attack power. In this case, there you go, my Zweihander. Right now I think I can raise it like 2+2 to be much more effective in combat. Of course, the more it progresses, the level progresses, the more the Titanite shards, the type of Titanite shards and the soul requirement will be higher. But the game will practically shower you with materials and soul accordingly to the portion of the game you'll be. So it's fair in the way it treats you. Again, it's better than Dark Souls 2, exactly.
The guy voicing
Ricard
is a guy named Adam Sott. He's most well known for playing a character called Darren Clark in Granger.
I have no idea who you're talking about, Bibbs. Was it probably Brit stuff?
Yeah, Granger was a long-running British soap opera about a school.
The actor which I think you should get to know the most about the Dweebs, I don't know his name, but I can tell you the character he voices. But for the sake of not spoiling the most newcomers of the audience, I will tell you after we're done with today's session.
He was also in the Harry Potter games. He played Marcus Flint in Quidditch World Cup. And then he actually voiced Harry Potter from Order of the Phoenix until Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Oh, so he's the guy who yells, "Stupefy! Stupefy! Stupefy!"
To be fair, they all do that.
Anyway, using this lever, we can wait for an elevator. Please, do you have some elevator music to use in the meantime?
I can find some on YouTube and play it through the microphone if you wish.
Well, too late. Just keep one potentially in mind for possible next time, because Dark Souls has a lot of long elevator that require potentially elevator musics. Again, it's a good way to disguise a loading screen, so I commend the game for that. And we're back at the Firelink Shrine as a result. Again, it's an interesting shortcut that is, thankful for us that we have the Master Key. Oh, there's someone here, but she doesn't talk. This is the Firekeeper. This is a lady who's maintaining the bonfire that's up ahead. If we gave her specific souls that we can find, which are specifically labeled, she can power up our Estus Flask to be more effective, actually. So when we have something like that, we may go back here and give it. Let me see if I can level the stats. Maybe 1. So I'll go with Endurance. Again. Basically, the stats that will power up here from here now will be Endurance. There you go. And now I mean fast roll. Endurance, Vitality, and Strength. And since we're here and it's October, at least for the duration of October and and until we're completed it, for the runs we will do about that. Now it's time to do something appropriately themed, for temporarily abandon the way that we were going for, the undead church, the bridge with the dragon, the wyvern, anything, and instead get to the back of Firelink Shrine, where there's a cemetery. Well, it's Halloween, Dweebs and Shiroi. What do you think is happening?
A bunch of pumpkins will come out from the...
Worse, welcome! I welcome you. Yeah, no, worse actually, we are zombies technically. Welcome to the Boneyard, where the rattling is eternal. And our death is gonna be high here because the skeletons...
Like a dry bones kind of thing where they don't die technically.
Well, we're back at the cemetery. I don't know how much I will have cut from this. Basically, we had some minor accident, but don't worry, you haven't missed anything, just me killing some skeletons. If I did cut this. Basically, since we're in Halloween time, we might as well have a dungeon themed like that. In this case, killing some skeletons. Just by ignoring instead these and taking this ominous, sorry, down road, we enter, as the dumb shit guide of Dark Souls will tell you, the anus of the world. This place is very dark, but thankfully your character projects like an aura of light around you, and we're at the catacombs. Oh god. Basically, Shiroi, in specific areas, the skeletons here will not die at all. So it's best if you just run past them like this, and instead find the source of their of their eternal life. Necromancers, the worst kind of wizards, if you ask me. Yes. Necromancers are just like the worst. Terrible at casting spells and terrible at hygiene, so yeah. Terrible if you ask me. Once you kill the bastard necromancer, the skeletons will stop actually, being assholes and recovering from that, and you will actually start gaining the souls. However, if you have a weapon with a blessed, quote-unquote, attribute to it, like the holy element of the game, you will manage to actually kill them without having to kill the necromancer. No, I was close to the bonfire, for fuck's sake! The good thing is that the necromancers do not respawn, so our second visit to the catacombs will mean that we can kill the skeletons more, without the worrying of them rising up again. They do certainly have, considering how Miyazaki, in some sense, I wouldn't be too surprised if it took some inspiration from the movie Army of the Dead, the third Evil Dead movie. In case you don't know, you should watch it if you haven't.
Is that the one that has the ending where he sings?
Yeah, the one set in medieval times, Dweebs. I prefer. Well, in general, the series is a classic for me, and apparently they're doing like an official fourth movie with Sam Raimi back as the director. Though, yeah, I heard that Bruce Campbell, after the series ended, or more like was cancelled, has decided to retire as the character. So I don't know exactly what they'll decide to do with it, but I don't know. I'll see what happens to it. But in general, I still have high regards for the series as a whole. But I guess I prefer the most the second movie. What about you, Dweebs? If you have seen any. Shiroi?
No.
Oh, you definitely should. It's the Halloween season, Shiroi. Convince Alice to watch it with you. You're gonna have a fun time. Anyway, there we go. Well, Tweebs, the SS, sorry for shameless plug, but the SSMB usually organize movie nights for Halloween, so I would suggest maybe stick around for them.
Yeah, I'll get my favorite.
Knowing Ryan, he'd probably suggest once again Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker because he's so obsessed with that movie. I mean, I don't blame him, but just it's not very Halloweeny. Then again, we're the people who commentate on Harry Potter movies at Halloween, so what the fuck do I know?
Well, again, I'm still undecided.
There we go. There we go. Now that we're here, finally with some respite, we can pull this lever, and we're like push. We have a door unlocked. Thankfully, no. There are no traps like this. But for some scenery interesting thing, if you actually take a look at the ceiling at the bottom of this, you will see that it's like incredibly covered with bugs of some kind. They do nothing wise, but they're just there to taunt you. I don't know. Moving on. No. They're there to be spoopy leaves. Well, like, the Timon and Pumbaa were like Bear Grylls before Bear Grylls.
Apparently, yes. Have you played? There's that Bear Grylls Netflix interactive game out there.
Wait, there is one?
Really?
I don't know if it's out now or if it's come out, but there's an interactive Bear Grylls survival game. He doesn't die if you fuck him too many times. So you can put him through all sorts of stuff.
Poor bastard. Anyway, you may
Like
notice
that
also
stats,
the...
in a way.
You may have noticed the innumerable statues that adorn the catacombs. Pay attention to how they're structured, because some of them have some surprises for you. Also, there's another necromancer there. Let's see if I actually have my bow and arrow here. Oh, I don't think I have enough. Oh, I don't think I have enough dexterity for a bow. Fuck. Let's see, how many souls do I have? I potentially can level up. I don't want to level up to 12. Whatever, sacrifice must be taken. Basically, long story short for the non-nerds, I need 2 more points in dexterity to actually use correctly arranged weapons. I normally wouldn't need it. I would normally stop at like 10, dexterity, but I guess, sacrifices and all. Let's see if I can. No. No, alright, I need to farm a bit more. Alright, I will need to kill some skeletons for the time being. Also, the skeletons in this game have some more comedic behavior of the game, of the enemies in the game, if you may notice. They get constantly, they constantly shatter, they have some very goofy animation, they always like pop their head when they combine. Again, knowing Miyazaki, I wouldn't be too surprised if he took also some inspiration from stuff like the Danse Macabre, Silly Symphony, which has a lot of, he's like the precursor of general, Skeletor spookness that you see to this day. Also, what the hell did you just do? That skeleton just teleported somewhere else. Also, yeah, the necromancers have as their only weapon a lantern. Fucking hell, are you serious? From behind me. Oh, that's because there's the necromancer nearby. Alright, I'll need to wing it. Basically, there you go. Basically, the necromancer is only the lantern as a weapon. As long as they have it, they can torch you with it, or potentially, or shoot fireballs at you. Dead. Fucking hell. Now I don't need to use the bow anymore. I'm fucked, but it was worth it. Again, if you know an enemy that doesn't respawn, that is crucial to the dungeon, prioritize that over your very own life. It sounds suicidal, but it puts you in a very good advantage in solving the level. So it is really recommended to do that. Especially for a case like this one. Also, there you go. If the skeleton is doing this particular stance, that means he's ready to parry you. So you have to be patient and wait for it to lower his guard. There we go. This. Let's move on. Now when I kill the necromancers, these skeletons will actually stay dead. The ones I'm about to encounter. There we go. Some skeletons get equipped with a shield, others trade it by having a sword that's slightly bigger. It all, depends on the damage that they deal to you. So, again, it all depends. Also, you may notice that I prefer to use a lot the two-hand variation, stance of the Zweihander, because it's more effective this way. I can potentially block attacks with that, using the same, wanking animation that I did before. Sorry. But it's obviously not as effective as a shield, so it is only recommended in case of extreme emergency. There we go. And stay down. Also, skeletons have their eyes glowing in the dark. That's also another nice touch to tell you their position. Whee! See, where you go. But what? Well, you two will say you'll see in a second, but the audience that saw was a skeleton trying to launch himself to like propelling almost in a awkward way. Again, these skeletons have very comedic animations, and they actually stick out because of that. Ow. Also, my character actually has some grunting sounds depending on the damage that he takes. Thankfully, the state of being hollow and not human only detriments when it comes to summoning other people and and being invaded. It doesn't actually damage stuff like your health. That would be very stupid. That's because Dark Souls 2 does it. I really don't like that mechanic either. But again, we'll get to that. It's still a long road for us anyway on this one. No, I'm actually we're already at a decent point, if you ask me. We're proceeding at a decent pace. And considering I will do some minor stuff off screen, I would say top probably 30 parts, top at most. And I'm already exaggerating, probably. It will also be tied to some of the choices that you do, and Shiri will help me go through. Well,
Here's the next choice. Do you want to face a giant, fire-breathing dragon that can kill you in 3 hits? Or do you want to go down this path here with no dragons, and you can have 5 million skeletons?
well, it's Halloween, Leaves, so skeletons galore. Always respect the spookiness.
And is there a kind of dragon it is?
Does it really matter?
A skeleton dragon.
Ooh!
Yeah, so yeah, it's skeletons or just...
There we go, with a jump attack. I actually managed to perform a jump attack. I was supposed to give to the demon. Now, if I get back to where I was, they... like I said, most of the challenge in a typical Dark Souls game is not the fear of the unknown, not knowing much about the level design. That's your primal fear that takes care of you most of the time. Also, well, look at that. There's a bridge that is being turned, and a necromancer right at the end of it. Which... Also, stay away from these floating heads, because if they notice you, they will explode.
Oh, look.
And since it's a magic explosion, your shield can do anything about it. Yes, actually that's what we need to know. We need to do. But let me show you also something else. This statue is different from the other because it has a mask on it. If I get close to it, it releases free spikes, so it's a trap. So I need to stay carefully away from it or let it, spring and wait until it recoils for moving on. There we go. Now let's see, I don't remember if these particular skeletons get affected by the necromancer. Yes, they do, holy shit. Then it's time to wing it. Oh my god, I hate these motherfuckers so much. Thankfully, once you're stuck in an animation of something like opening a door or moving a lever, you are automatically, invulnerable. So at least for that, be grateful that at least for that, I managed to turn the bridge just in time.
Yeah, I turned the bridge at left.
Our poor Tio-san is suffering because of this.
It's been a while, so I forgot the name was Sunny.
Tio-san, it lives. Yeah. Totally. Even though the game actually came out, the vanilla version, like in what, 2011?
We're
No.
time travelers.
Yes.
We travel back in time to a copy
Of
the
Vives, what did I tell you about using the TARDIS, with wisdom?
See how you do remember here talking to.
Jesus Christ. Just be glad that the Daleks are not invading us for the 11th time.
So I went back in time and changed it so that some of the video games don't
Be reminded, Vives, that every action is like a consequence to it. So for this good thing that you managed to avoid, probably something else had to be, compensated.
I managed to get England as the most in terms of video game making.
So you're telling me that Rare is still a competent developer in this timeline? Ooh. Let me guess also, Eidos was never purchased by Square Enix. Of course, that clearly was the Eidos franchise that needed the most. Along with the Kuji the Heartless. I'm not even. I mean, honestly, if Toys for Bob ever does a Q&A, you should probably ask if someone there has like memories of that and if they're fond, of Unholy War. Like, was that game like purposely commissioned by Bamco? But in that case, it was just Bandai. Yeah, it was before the merging because Namco merged with Bandai at some point. Of course. Fucking old man boner. Fuck! I'm still dead. Keep going, Waves, keep going.
So, released, and well, it only cost me 30 quid to get it myself, so I guess it's sold UK and it's sold.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a case more. In that case, will be more like the original Shantae Waves, the fact that it didn't sell much, so there wasn't that much printing, and it was already a late game for the Game Boy Color. So of course, buying a copy nowadays is super expensive, unless there is a third party that starts producing once again cartridges similar to that company that does that for N64 games. I'm not sure like the prices will decrease right now.
Currently recording an LP of that game for the channel, and it's okay.
Well, you already done an Holy War right now. We just need to start it.
Yeah, I've been recording the Mischiefs as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, again, from what I check, it's actually really short as a game because, like you said, it doesn't have a story mode. Something. Die, Jesus. Well, die eternally. That's what I mean.
That would be a fitting name.
Well,
Also.
the subtitle for this is the prepared. Usually, for the complete edition of the first game, is the Prepare to Die edition. I'm not even kidding. It's not a game of beer or something. No, Prepare to Die edition. Probably like a 007 in Prepare to Die.
Well, there is the next one was called No Time to Die.
Oh, they actually confirmed the title
Yeah, it's called No Time to Die.
with Rami Malek as the villain.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury is a bad guy.
It's funny the fact that I know most Rami Malek from being Josh in Until Dawn before actually watching stuff like Mr. Robot. Have you actually checked that series, with?
No, the Amazon series I've really started seeing. The first couple episodes of Jack Ryan.
Have you tried? Have you tried also what it's called? The Boys. Don't, in case. It's essentially it's based on a story from Garth Ennis. If you don't know, it's a writer that tries to be very, on the nose in a sense. Oh, look at how insensitive. No, not insensitive. More, look how annoying I am towards this argument that I know trigger a lot of people. In specifically trying to be like a movie with Watchmen, trying to make a story about superheroes not really being good with people, having a group of normal human, essentially killing them. That's what The Boys is all about, But he's one of those writers that needs to be put on a leash because he can be so annoying if leave left on his own. So,
So far, there's Dark Souls part. We talked about video games that are 20 years old. A game with two rival alien species fighting each other to get Sally the Witch to fight a alien that can teleport really far.
there we go. We killed the third old man boner. I mean, I'm probably gonna die now. Yeah, there we go. But it was still worth it. Again, the killing of the necromancer is important, so it allows us to progress. It's kind of like of a check mark, basically.
I'll download Google Translate and just find out what the languages.
I can tell you the Italian one.
Western worthy.
No, sei morto. Yeah.
I know a bit of Spanish.
The Spanish one is probably tu es morto. Or muerta, possible. I don't know that much myself. Yeah.
That's our next big project, is we're gonna do the next stream of the game in our own languages.
Totally. One of the reasons why also we're venturing in the catacombs before potentially quote-unquote the necessary time is because the end item that we can get from this dungeon is another thing that can be really useful to our run. Specifically, something that can allow us to carry much more Estus flasks. So basically, the equivalent of a bigger, pouch for healing items, but it's just for the Estus flask, mind you. So die. Red and white round shield. There you go. In the meantime, Shiro, might as well then, since we're still in like climate of Halloween and everything. Like, did you ever have to be dressed up for an Halloween party, like being classic witch?
When I was a child, yes.
Yeah, that's usually what I meant.
Yeah. Although now now Comic-Con falls on Halloween, so it's never Halloween specific anymore.
Of course. No, usually Halloween has become, the commercials part anyway. More important thing, starting when I was like, what, 15, 16, because since my country is mostly made of religious devils, obviously it was like, oh no, this is pagan stuff, it's like the Satan incarnate or some shit, avoid it. Even though at the end of it, it's just another way to steal money from people, and that's literally it. So eventually we were like, oh, okay, it's just like that. As long as it entertains our kids, I guess it's harmless. And there you go. Like, kids have started asking candies ever since, and I'm pretty sure the rate of people converting to evil religions or shit like that has not, incremented. It's similar. It's similar to what happened with the Da Vinci Code. Like, religious people are like, "Oh no, like it's clearly gonna affect the minds of our people." When in reality, we're like, "No, it's just a bad book, a movie."
No, around here that wasn't really as prominent, so children were out trick-or-treating all the time.
Ah, okay. Well, I can imagine that, ever since the times of Elizabeth I, the topic of religion in the UK has always been relatively, more open than in other countries. Of course, Henry VIII was the one who kickstarted it, but there was that, brief intermission where there was that the Catholic Queen, I forgot what she's called. Anyway, this is another case where we have, I think, necromancer in one of these hidey holes. It's time to sniff him out. Where are you? Jesus fuck. Again, thanks to the tools that we acquired, we managed to be more effective. There you are, Omen Boner Freedom for the Reckoning. Fuck, and I died.
Fire.
Oh. Again, like I said, necromancers have only, for me, wizards they have a shitty weapon. It's just a skull lantern.
You died.
That spews of fire. Like, what the fuck? In fact, yeah, it's a good time to bust in some humanity because I clearly not doing enough with just 5 Estus Flask. So let me reverse hollow.
It's funny that I never saw anything like that for Halloween stuff, though, because I remember a few years ago, there was a group meetup of about 50 Homestucks.
And no one...
there was an elderly woman who didn't realize what was going on. She was terrified because she thought they were all a bunch of Satanists.
Well, the horns can be a clue.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, almost every single one of them was a troll, so yeah.
Yeah.
What's about Satanism?
We're talking about Halloween in general, which actually, let's say, is a good segue to the question that I did through Shiro, just to you, Dweebs. When you were, more younger, of course, did you actually dress up for Halloween? As what? Ghost, I guess, with a sheet? Like Charlie Brown?
No, I just was the Scream Master.
Oh, you told the off commentary video you had a mask like that. Interesting.
Did you ever do the? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, especially because if I recall correctly, Wes Craven's The Scream wasn't probably for children.
Did you ever do the whole bedsheet ghost thing? I did.
also, I just realized that probably with that logic, a lot of Halloween costume these years will be about Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. And I'm not sure how to process properly that.
I know there are people dressing their children up as Trump for Halloween.
Truly the most hideous of monsters, the Orange Man.
Margaret Thatcher Halloween costume when?
Wait, you tell me that it wasn't a thing already? Come on!
I don't think so, at least not from what I see.
Be more creative. Anyway, one problem that the catacombs have, of course, you may notice also some minor scarcity for bonfires, so you will need to potentially do a lot of... Fuck. Well, they're ghost dweebs, how do you even fuck them? Sorry, skeletons, my bad. Get my spooks confused.
Well, I mean, I think Undertale fans have a pretty good handle on how exactly that would be.
Of course! I mean, we managed to not make any particular bone puns yet, so I'm actually proud of you two, but I don't make any promises that it's gonna be, continuous. Also, goddammit, dweebs. Also, there's no skeleton. You know those classic Google images that you see everywhere, like the one where, for example, Jonathan referenced one of his Halloween videos, like the skeleton with guns and sunglasses on their head. Who came up with this shit? Like, usually I guess it's stuff for biker gangs, I suppose, but it's still like odd. All right, I think it's. Jesus Christ! Just. Shut up, leave me be, you two. Why did you roll the down? These skeletons seriously are so messed up.
He just ran off the ledge.
He just committed suicide because he wasn't, he understood that the game he was... Oh fuck, he parried me!
They're not allowed to do that.
There. Die. Die! Fuck! Oh, it exploded the air near me. Fantastic. Fantastic. Lives, you're keeping the count. How many minutes are we in your recording? I guess it's a good place to stop it here. All right, folks. We'll continue the catacombs next time.